People are either going to love you or they're going to hate you, but neither truly matters as long as you love yourself. And I mean that. Don't make me come through this screen and come handle you, okay? Don't make me tell you twice, all right? Remember that. Your light will trigger other people's darkness. That is their journey, that's their baggage, not yours. It's not your responsibility to clean up somebody else's mess. If you want to be kind-hearted and do it, just remember that sometimes what you're cleaning up is their karma, and if you get hit by the bus that's about to hit them, then baby, that you were there. You weren't supposed to be there.
Hello, stranger. It's been a minute since we last kicked it. And by the way, I just got in town, and I won't let cumulus clouds all in the sky.
Hello, welcome back. I missed you guys. Before we get started with anything, I want to go ahead and clear the energies. So let's do that, okay? This is going to be more free-flowing for the simple fact I was going to originally do a video about what I've learned creating content. One point that I made was how to thrive in the midst of insecure people and negativity. And when I got to that point, I was like, actually, this is a video within itself. Because if I go back and think about what I experienced as a child and why I didn't want to shine my light or be perceived creating content, that healing journey and discovering what that was all about definitely took me back to my childhood and how people's insecurities and negativity forced me to dim my light. I didn't want to show up because every time I did, as my authentic self, as my loving, nurturing, dependable self, I found myself constantly being attacked. And we're taught at a very young age that you have to be good, you have to show up this certain type of way, and if you do, you'll be rewarded. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case. But fast forwarding to now, as an adult, I realized people are just really negative, especially in the comments, especially now on TikTok where you can respond to someone and go viral for talking about them. So a lot of people lean into the negativity, and I'm so grateful for all of the things I went through in my past. And because I was so small, I thought that if I don't do this thing or I don't show up and still the light, then I will be protected. People won't attack me. If I minimize myself, if I dress down, if I don't put so much thought into my look, my hair, my style, and I just blend in, then I will be accepted and I won't be attacked. So for me, acceptance wasn't coming from a needy area. It was coming from not being harmed. Saying it is different from knowing it, right? Sometimes we have to say things out loud to understand. Now as an adult, being perceived by millions of people all the time, I've ran into situations, even on my own page, but recently, particular on a couple's page with my fiance, people will say the rudest things, and it's so interesting to observe. We're putting out content to help, and still and yet there's a small subset, I would say, of people that still find things to talk about. They've attacked both of us equally, so shout out to equality and unity there, baby. Some of the things they say, now that I've reached the place that I am currently, I realize, wow, these people have a lot of issues. And it's not issues in the sense of, I'm so glad I'm healed, I'm better than them. It's issues in the sense of, I can tell what type of issues you have. I can see how you project. And it's intriguing to watch because now I go through deeper introspection of myself. Now that I'm healed to the point that I'm not triggered, it gives me a lot to think about and observe. The subset of a lot of these comments is from insecurity. Insecurity, in a sense, can show up as negativity. And sometimes as my fiance and I discuss what's going on in the comment section, we're very unbothered. Now that we're doing something purposeful, he's able to see that growth and that skyrocket of going viral. And going viral isn't for everyone. When you really truly go viral, the algorithm is now pushing you to everyone, not just the individuals that like your type of content. So you will get a lot of negativity, a lot of backlash. And if you're not prepared for it, you will most certainly go into a stage of depression, self-evaluation. If you're insecure, you'll be even more insecure. If you have unhealed trauma, you will be triggered. And for me, because I've gone viral multiple times, when I go all the way back to my past, I've experienced very heavy, traumatic things. And because I worked through that, I was prepared for going viral. Now, sometimes when you first go viral, you think you're ready because you've experienced things, but you've never experienced this type of backlash or negativity on this level. So you're still gonna have some growth to go through, and that's fine. The thing is how you overcome. You're not gonna be able to control anyone else. The only person you can control is yourself. So in this video, we're going to discuss how to remain strong and unshakable while also staying true to self. So remember, I have to emphasize, this is not about changing other people. This is about fortifying yourself, okay? Let's go ahead and dive in. I feel like we've all been previewed to someone insecure and the backlash thereof of triggering their insecurities. But what is it? If we were to put a definition on our experience, not necessarily a dictionary definition, but what is our definition of how we feel and why that's transmuting in the situation. And I would definitely say it's a lack of confidence, obviously, and self-worth. And it causes people to try to protect their fragile self-image the best way they can. And in that, they project onto others. Remember when I just said we're not trying to change other people, we're fortifying ourselves? This is also a version of that. So if you are experiencing some insecure people often, or even here and there, you probably have some insecurities that you need to look at as well. Those people that are projecting onto others are trying to force others to fit into a box, fit into a space of control. So it's very important that we don't cross that really fine line, because a lot of times what we hate outside of ourselves is a reflection of ourselves. So it's essentially you hate yourself. We're trying to work through this in a way where we don't pacify people's nonsense, but we also don't allow them to get away with what they're doing. And we're gonna learn how to do that by having more control over self, rather than trying to jump out of self and control another person. To revisit what I originally said, you have to understand where they're at. You have to have compassion for them. You have to have patience with them, because that is a direct reflection of the patience, respect, and consideration you have for yourself. Remember, insecure people don't hate you. They hate how your light and your strength triggers their insecurities. It brings light to what they have going on, because they're stuck in a dark place. And not saying that in a sense of bad. They're stuck in a place where they can't see. They can't see themselves. They can't see why they are the way they are. And we know they attack others when they feel triggered. This is widely known, yes? It's either when they're triggered or when they're reminded of their own inadequacies. But if we know this, why do you get triggered when they're triggered? Why aren't you able to have control and not be triggered when they become triggered for something that you're not intentionally doing? That's definitely something to look into. Every time these people are triggered by you, it reminds them of how bad they feel about themselves. They try to attack you as if you're a demon trying to steal their soul. But really, they are their own enemy. Now we're aware. Now we know clearly what's going on. We're going to go through some reflection questions for you so that you can have deeper introspection about what's going on. So the first question is, do I recognize these behaviors in others? And how do I respond? Second is, am I ever guilty of projecting my own insecurities onto others? Now the thing is, as humans, we get caught up in what's happening right in front of us, but we often forget we have to have patience. We have to see what's going on. We have to take a moment to feel how God is trying to speak to us through other people. So we do have to acknowledge that insecurity is coming from pain. This is not an excuse. This is an explanation so that we can further understand. The better you understand, the better equipped you are. So some of those pains will be traumas, failure to succeed, a lack of self-acceptance. All of those things often drive a lot of these negative behaviors. Now, I said some things that you may also have as a quality as well. So we are trying to have compassion for self, love for self, and it will reflect out to others. You are also a mirror to others as well. You will begin to align with a better assortment of people. Now, I will have this disclaimer out there. If you are some sort of light worker, if you consider yourself as someone that experiences a lot of things that of a light worker or a gifted person that's here to raise the vibration of the current plane that we're in, you will experience a lot of this. It's just natural. So the thing is, they feel trapped in their own limitations and they attack when they're reminded of what they lack. Now, when I say projection, what do I mean? For those that don't know, okay? They're basically prisoner of projection and deflection because they don't have self-control, because they don't have a solidified identity, because they're going through the world thinking that obtaining all of the physical objects are going to give them the respect and satisfaction that they feel like they're lacking in their life. But even if they obtain it, even if they get it, they're not realizing that there's something within them that they need to pay attention to. But in order to do that, you're going to be faced with pain. And a lot of us are not okay with pain. So they attack others to avoid confronting their own feelings. And remember that their criticism is less about you and more so about them and their fear and their own inadequacies. This next section is where you have to have a lot of self-awareness, because there are times where they show up and they ask you a lot of questions, but they really don't want an answer. They're not looking for understanding or any type of intellectual depth. But because you feel like they finally want to understand you, you go into over-explaining, you share too much information, and that's taking from your energetic reservoir. And what they're really doing is they have somewhat of a coward energy because they don't want to address you directly about what the issue is. They don't want to come off problematic. So they hide behind questions and or criticism instead of addressing their true feelings. Now, if you're like, yeah, that's that person, she's reading them the filth. Remember, you do this as well. You may do it in a different way. You may do it in a different manner. You may not do it in the same tone, but you definitely have the same characteristics, because why is it being reflected to you? So where are you not speaking up for yourself? Where are you not showing up as your true version of self? Where are you not addressing things head on in the moment when they need to be addressed? Think about that, because those are the things that are creating this repetitive cycle for you. Now remember, I have been there. These are things that I've realized about myself. And these are the reasons why I'm so poised and comfortable in myself, because I can address things head on without anger, without a tone. Sometimes people trip me up. If I'm busy multitasking, then I'll definitely fall into the energy of being a little snappy or a little bit more forceful than I typically am. But for the most part, I don't reach the rage that I once exhibited in the world, right? So Be patient with yourself, because this is something that you're going to have to work on for a little while before you can get comfortable and really not caring and being unbothered. This is the reflective question for this section. When someone is critical or negative towards me, can I pause and see their pain instead of reacting? I've already been hinting to this. I couldn't even help myself, okay? This next section is, why does their negativity bother you? It's theirs, it's not yours. They're experiencing that. You don't have to take that on. You don't have to feel that type of energy. So why does it bother you? So remember, even when you're healing or you think you're healed, things will still trigger you. And that's because you still haven't mastered emotional discipline. That's the reason why it bothers you. Once you master that within yourself, you won't be moved by whatever someone else is doing. The other mix to the equation is you're uncertain about how to respond effectively. You want to be able to be kind, but also exert that boundary and hold that boundary without discomfort. See, a lot of people are regurgitating the same thing on the internet. And I don't know if a lot of them actually have a deep wisdom and understanding about what they're saying. When you're holding boundaries, after a while, it should not feel uncomfortable. How many times have you been in situations where you're trying to hold a boundary and you feel incredibly uncomfortable? And this is the 5th or 6th time you've held this boundary. And then you go into hermit mode because you feel like everybody is horrible and you can't do anything about how other people are. So you want to alienate yourself from the world and hold your gifts in when God wants you to shine your gifts without. How many times have you fallen victim to that? So we have to learn how to comfortably hold boundaries. And that takes a lot of time through your journey to understand how to do that without being rude, getting out of character, being someone that you were not, but also understanding when to be rude, when to get out of character, and when to show them who you truly are at your core if you are with. So we want to have balance. I'm not teaching or preaching you all to be mild and meek at all times. Yes, you must be poised, but the allure is having a fire under that poised demeanor. You have to be the type of person that will, in fact, take it there if you need to, in only certain circumstances, not every circumstance. People have to understand that there's a walk to the talk. And the beautiful thing about it is when you are balanced and comfortable in who you are and you balance that warrior spirit in you, don't demean that warrior spirit, because that will help balance you and add depth to who you are. The Most High won't put you in situations where you will need that spirit to arise unless someone needs to see it. And when they need to see it, for some reason, in my own personal experiences, they can feel the simmer, they can feel the boil, but I'm not there. I'm not even close to being there, but the presence is there. Think about a strong figure in your life. When their presence is there, you can feel it and you just know to straighten up. It's that type of essence, not necessarily popping off or getting loud and irate and showing up in a light that you don't want to be. But you want to know you have refined your warrior spirit and it's still with you and it should still be with you. Because let's not forget, earth is still earthing. So you have to make sure that that fire and that spirit is there to show up when you really, really need it, okay? But you don't need it because somebody is showing up in the energy that they always show up in and being disrespectful and not holding themselves accountable inside of their regress development. And the other point is you may still be trying to seek validation or approval from others, because who's not? We want to be able to build community. We want to know that we're showing up as our best version. And the best way to know that is by dealing with other people. There's no harm in that. As long as you're aware and you understand the best person to validate you is you. The best person to clearly see who you are is yourself. You just have to take the steps in order to do that. So remember, if you truly understand and love yourself, others' negativity won't have any power over you. So if they do have power over you, then know you have a lot more introspection to do. Now for our reflective questions. Why do I care about this person's opinion of me? What insecurities in me may be responding to their negativity? Now, here are some steps in order to ensure that you stay strong and poised. I think we can safely say that the first point will definitely be don't be like them. You can't control what people do to you, but you can control who you become. You have to commit to breaking this cycle. You are in the same vibrational field as them. You all are on the same field, playing the same game. You're on opposite teams. Let's break away from that. You have to be honest with yourself. If you are experiencing negativity and insecurities constantly, you have to start going within and seeing where you need to heal your own insecurities and avoid projecting those onto others. Remember to approach the situation with empathy instead of criticism. The best way to do this is to practice patience. You need that buffer of like 10 or 15 seconds in order to regain your strength, regain your mental stability in the height of your emotions. If your default is to react, you won't ever grasp the strength that you need or grasp onto something sturdy to be able to reflect and see exactly what's going on and taking place in the moment. Some really good ways to do that is meditation. I promise you, meditating is the go-to thing. That is where I got a lot of patience. If it's challenging for you to sit still and meditate, I would highly recommend going into yoga. A lot of us are doing physical things so that we can get physical results in our body. Yoga focuses more on having mental strength. When you first go into it, you believe that you're doing it in the light of having a fit body. And you will see quickly that a lot of the poses that you hold and go through are challenging on the body. But the longer that you hold these poses, the more mental strength you'll need because you're going to have to sit through the discomfort. I highly recommend finding a yoga instructor that holds poses for a long time. Uncomfortable poses, things that you typically don't do on a day-to-day basis. I don't know what type of magic yoga is, but definitely sent from the Most High. That is where I developed a lot of patience and a lot of mental strength. So we want to build on our emotional discipline as well, okay? I just gave you one tip. Once you master either meditation or your mental strength and breathing exercises in yoga, you want to practice emotional detachment. This is about them. This is not about me. When you first start to implement any type of change in your reality, I feel like God, your spirit guides, whoever you subscribe to, is so excited because they're like, oh my gosh, they're getting it. They see it. Let's give them more opportunities. Yes, if you experience this, then you know once you begin to heal and become very reflective within yourself and implement some of the things that you learn, you get a lot of the thing that you're healing from. If you go into prayer and you ask for patience, you will be presented with plenty of opportunities to exhibit patience. And a lot of times we think that that's the enemy, or we think that that's negative entities trying to attack us and push us back. The paradigm there is always going to put you 3 steps behind. It's always going to knock you back a peg because you think that there's something in the universe trying to go against you, when you have to start shifting your paradigm to believe that everything is happening for the best and better good of you. It's happening for you, not to you. So when you ask to be better, please know that you will be presented with opportunities to be better. Okay, that's how this goes. It's practice, baby. So in that, anticipate what you perceive as negativity and be prepared for it. You prepare on downtime. You prepare when things are good and great, and you show up when things are going crazy, okay? Let's shift that mindset so that we can be better prepared. Focus on your growth and value and not other people's opinions. Their opinions don't matter. Earlier in this discussion, I reflected on how my fiance was not used to doing content and receiving such backlash and negative feedback. We would get positive content. He would say, oh, babe, look, we're blowing up, we're doing this. And he would have like, I don't know, he had this joy, this brightness to him. I was like, babe, do you remember how you felt when people were attacking you and attacking us and saying all of these horrible things? And he was like, yeah, they're this and they're that. And I was like, yeah, that's true, they are. But now you're happy because people are resonating with what we're doing and they like what we're doing. I had to reiterate that people don't care about you. And I remember when I said that to him for the first time, it was incredibly off-putting. And he was like, what? What do you mean they don't? I was like, it seems like they do, because they resonate with what you say. They can see themselves in that position. You know, it's relatable. They're relating to the topic, but they don't care about you. They don't know you. I had to come to terms for myself with that as well. People don't care about you. They don't know you. You're a stranger. So don't allow their criticism or their praises to move you. That is all within you, yes? And that is just the truth. Okay, I know some of my people are watching. I love y'all. I know y'all care about me, okay? Because at the end of the day, we have developed a relationship. But those everyday people, those people that either hate you or love you, they don't know you to hate you or love you. That's something that I would have to ask people way back in high school when they would come back to me and tell me what people were saying about me. And I was like, that's so interesting because they don't even know me. They've never talked to me. They don't know my story. They don't know why I show up the way I show up. So how could they hate or love me when they don't know me? Same thing with relationships. How do you love me and you don't know me? I make you feel good, but really, do I? I'm not making you feel good. I'm just presenting an opportunity for you to show up in love. That love that you feel is inside of you, not me. I don't feel it the way you feel it, and you don't feel it the way I feel it, and that's cool. But we have to get to know people, and unless we do, they don't know you. So don't give them so much power to bring your energy up or down. And all of this is going into maintaining your perspective. The pain of others when they're triggered by you or they're intimidated by you or their insecurities are shining because of you, their pain is not your pain. I had to come to terms with this in my 20s. I had to learn that I'm going to be perceived as the villain because people don't understand that it's not my responsibility to hold your burdens. I don't want your burdens. Hell, I don't want my burdens. So why would I hold yours? That's something that you have to sift through. You got to go through that garbage and make sure that you dispose of it. That's not my job. You can tell somebody at work, that's not my job. But you can't tell those energetic vampires that you love to call out. It's not your job. And you have to sit comfortably in knowing that. And I'm going to hold your hand when I say this. You can't control how others act, but you can control how you react. I don't care if you're tired. I don't care if you're over it. I don't care if you feel like there's not a way out. I don't care if you can't see the light. If you have been gifted this crown, it is most definitely your responsibility to hold it. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. You are going through the preliminaries of where you're going to be in the future. You better master every life lesson that you're going through currently. You're going to need it. Pass the test. Don't cheat. Don't cut corners. Make sure you understand why things are going on in your life. Everything is happening for you, not to you. That's one thing that I will regurgitate because I know it very well. And I do want to reiterate this. Recognize that their behavior reflects their pain and not your worth. It is not your burden. It is not your baggage. Do not take it. Do not hold it. If they see you as a villain, so be it. Move on with your life with a smile. Don't carry the burden that they see you a certain type of way. Move on. It's not yours. So don't take on their karma. Are you ready for our reflection questions? What are my go-to responses when I feel attacked? Are they productive? How can I practice staying calm when someone tries to trigger me? And you know, we're all getting triggered. We all have a trigger finger, okay? Don't think that it's ever gonna stop. As long as you're alive, you're gonna be met with so many opportunities to evolve and grow. That's the way it is. Learn to look at it as a fun game. As I went through my process of understanding other people and paying attention to them and me and their story and my story, I realized that everybody goes through trauma. Even if you're sheltered and you don't go through anything, you come from a good family and you're doing well in life, you will eventually meet trauma somewhere else later on in life, because this is not a place of paradise. This is school. Earth is literally school. It's Earth school. And I've said that before in another video. For some reason, I have celebrities in my mind. I'm seeing like Sky Jackson and Keke Palmer, and I think it's from Twitter. Yeah, I think it's from the X app. I guess they're going through a lot with the people that they've chosen in their life to have children with, or so on and so forth. But that is a perfect example. And I don't know these young ladies, so I don't know what their life was like prior to becoming famous. I don't know what type of family background they came from, so I'm not really going to speak too much on that. But that is a result of not learning early. So for me, I don't blame my traumas. I don't look at my traumas as an opportunity for a pity party. I look at it as an opportunity to learn self and be better prepared for the world. And because I learned it early and I was able to go back and heal it and redefine what certain things are in my mind, that is the reason why I'm able to be so sturdy and strong now, unshaken. And I say all that to say, trauma will either meet you on the front end or the back end. Either way, you just got to be comfortable with it. And not in a sense of not feeling a way about an abuser or attacker or a situation, you know what I mean? But in a way of understanding that that was something and an opportunity that you were able to overcome. And now you're better because of it. If it didn't present itself, you wouldn't be prepared for the woes of life as you transition through life. Okay, so remember that. Once you find the strength in that, you find the strength in yourself. Your scars and your bruises will no longer be something of an ugly reminder. It will be a proud battle wound. You are a survivor. So do not avoid your trauma. Do not forget your trauma. Do not push your trauma all the way back somewhere where you'll never be able to see it again. You cannot avoid it, because avoiding it will leave you vulnerable to being triggered. It's going to come back up. It's going to come back out. And when it does and you're unprepared, you will be that of what you hate. You will be the one to show up in insecurities. You're not secure in that avenue. You're not secure in that memory, and you will be triggered and you will project onto someone else as well. It will then be your turn, and you know how people are. They will definitely judge you. They will put you to the stake and be the judge and the executioner. Let's protect ourselves. Let's protect our image. Let's protect our personal brand and make sure that we don't show up as those of what we think we dislike. Once you heal, you'll understand that It's not even a dislike. It's not a disposition. It's not a discomfort when you experience it. It may be a little off-putting. It may arise some sort of frustration because at the end of the day, when you're minding your business and you're peaceful, you don't want to deal with other people's garbage, right? We discussed that. You don't want to deal with their garbage. You don't want to deal with their baggage, but realize that that is what it is. It's not about you. So politely hand it back to them. Okay, don't take it personal. All right. You know, the only thing that I think I tend to take personal, honestly, is disrespect. Disrespect is always personal. So don't have me show up in my light of the Saturn energy that I have and show you your karma, okay? Because I can be karma for everyone else. That's my little disclaimer. I'm very comfortable in being the karma. And like I said before in other videos, I will say it again in this one, karma is not a bad thing. Karma is an opportunity to learn from a lesson, a teachable lesson. That's it. It's gonna balance the scales. That's it. So I can show up in my beauty, in my light, and I can show up in chaos and destruction. It's all up to me because I decide who I want to be. I don't allow other people to decide that for me. All right, now for our reflection questions. What unresolved pain or trauma might still be influencing how I respond to others? How can I use my past struggles to become stronger and more secure? Now, everybody wants to be confident. So it is also your responsibility to be aware and be able to spot performative confidence. There's no way that you can be confident by faking it. It's just not possible. It takes a lot of work, a lot of dedication, and to be quite frank and honest, trauma to be confident. You have to learn how to face your fears. You have to learn how to stand up to certain things and certain people. That is what makes you confident, okay? Because you know how you're going to handle it. You know how you're going to go about certain situations, even if it's a surprise. And the better you handle those situations, the better you look in confidence. Remember that. So insecure people don't realize how hard it was to get to where you are. And when you think about it and you think about other people, you talk about them or you feel like they don't deserve what they have, you have to think, do I know what they went through to be where they are? We don't know people's stories. There's a lot going on behind closed doors that we don't understand. The person that comes to mind right now is Chadwick Boseman. That man was gracefully passing away and dying in front of us. And so many people said so many hurtful things about him. And he continued to smile. He continued to persevere, even though he knew his time was cutting short. We do not know other people's stories. We don't know what they're currently going through. We don't know what they've been through. So to look at another and say that they don't deserve something or to criticize them harshly and not even be aware of what they're going through, that within itself is immaturity at its finest. So when we think about other people projecting their insecurities onto us, we have to also look at how we project our insecurities onto other people, even if they can't hear us, even if you're in the privacy of your own home. How are you looking at other people and treating other people is a direct reflection of how you treat yourself. Now, these people have the characteristics of seeing your light and trying to weigh you down and hold you down because they're not willing to put in the work, be and operate the way you do. Like I said, being poised and discreet and mature, confident, those things take time and it takes a lot of work, a lot of healing work. A lot of people are not able to do the healing work. Many people are pretending or fooling themselves, thinking that they're healing, thinking that journaling every day is going to get it done. But what are you actually doing within to change your energy, your mindset, your perspective? Do you ever stop to question? Do you think you're always a teacher, or do you realize that you're often the student as well? Those are the things that we need to look at, right? Not just within other people projecting onto us, but also within ourselves. You always have to do checks and balances within yourself, no matter where you are, what stage you are in your life. Because the second that you think you know it all, you realize very quickly, spirit will humble you and you know nothing at all. And you will definitely be humbled by the youngest teacher you've ever seen in your life, or someone that you think does not have the wisdom or the knowledge or the know-how to check you. They will, okay? So let's save that opportunity and handle things within ourselves diligently. That is a nasty mentality. And quick side note, you know where I see this often? I have seen this often, especially behind closed doors with side chicks. Side chicks have a mentality of, I don't want to be the dumb girlfriend or the dumb wife or the dumb fiance. So I'm not going to put myself in a position to get hurt, but I'm completely fine with hurting them if they found out, or letting them know that I'm here and they're getting played and I am the catalyst for that. That is nasty work. And a lot of us have exhibited this mentality one way or another, and we have to come to terms with how we showed up and why we showed up that way. All right? So remember, you're not evading the process by jumping on the other side and really becoming the villain. Something in me just wanted to throw that in there. But yeah, let's move on to the next topic. So just remember, true confidence comes from within. It's not about performing for others. Keep that in mind. Hold that very close to your heart. You do not have to prove yourself to anyone. The only person you're proving yourself to is yourself. You want to make sure that you show up as your highest and greatest self. Start rooting for yourself if you weren't already, and make sure that you do it in love and nurture. All right? So let's get into our reflective questions. Am I confident, or do I still rely on others' validation? How can I build authentic confidence rooted in my value and growth? You know, our final takeaways is people are either going to love you or they're going to hate you, but neither truly matters as long as you love yourself. And I mean that. Don't make me come through this screen and come handle you, okay? Don't make me tell you twice. All right? Remember that. Your light will trigger other people's darkness. That is their journey. That's their baggage, not yours. It's not your responsibility to clean up somebody else's mess. If you want to be kind-hearted and do it, just remember that sometimes what you're cleaning up is their karma. And if you get hit by the bus that's about to hit them, then baby, that you were there. You weren't supposed to be there. If you find yourself getting hurt in some type of way, physically, energetically, emotionally, because you're trying to assist someone else, it's because you're in a lane that you don't need to be in. And true maturity is when things that used to move you simply don't anymore. It's not an act. It's just a way of being. You don't have to pretend to be mature. You don't have to pretend to be patient. You don't have to pretend to be conscientious. It just is. You just are. So here's something I want you to reflect on. Ask yourself, what's one thing I can do today to strengthen my confidence and emotional discipline? And then I want you to commit. How will I approach the next encounter with negativity differently? When you come up with an answer, of course, it's going to sound good in a moment. But when these situations actually arise, it may take time to fully implement what you set as an intention. So be gentle with yourself. And remember, these are baby steps, not large leaps. You're not leaping and bounding. This is just simple baby steps. And just keep reminding yourself, what they say about you says more about them. Confidence is silent, insecurities are loud. And mastering yourself is the ultimate freedom. My intention is that you take this information and you implement it as soon as possible. I hope all that I share with you today helps motivate you to go through life today and in the future a better, thriving individual, even in the midst of negativity. That's my time. I will see you guys next time. Be sure to like the video if I helped or you enjoyed. And don't forget to subscribe if you're new to my channel. I'll see you guys next time. Peace, love, and a little bit of spice. Wow.